I were given quite a lot of alcohol. Yeah, I were intoxicated more than I was sober, to be honest. It was the same thing every day. It was so like getting up, getting drunk, the men come in, and that was it, and then it'd start again.
During her horrifying ordeal, Elizabeth came to the attention of Risky Business, a Rotherham Council youth project managed by Jayne Senior.
I had a database where we had intelligence that we would put in there on a daily basis, and I'd get lots of things that were said to me in meetings, such as these children were consenting, they were making informed choices, they were returning to their abusers, they wouldn't make a good witness if it went to court, and also we were breaching a human rights issue. But it was never the human rights of the children, it was the human rights of the perpetrators.
Elizabeth's abusers were all linked. One of them was the uncle of one of the town's most prolific rapists.
I never left the building, the flat. Yeah, very chaotic for a 14-year-old. I can't tell you how many rapes that I've had.
Despite the known links between rapists, South Yorkshire Police failed to act.
Every time anybody new came into a senior role, we kind of thought, this is it now, something's going to happen, something's going to change. So I'd sit in lots of meetings and I would share all the information, as my staff would. And we had car registration numbers, names, nicknames, addresses, properties of concern. So we kind of collated a raft of that information that we kept, and we kept it in a database. And we get lots of reasons, and people still say to me today, why did they actually do nothing? And I can't give you the absolute answer to that. All I can tell you is what they said at the time. The children were consenting. The children wouldn't make good witnesses if they went to court.
But Elizabeth's suffering was not consensual. She was being exploited by a ruthless gang of rapists. Elizabeth took me back to the flat, where she was kept and abused for 10 weeks. Eventually she was freed, but it wasn't the police that rescued her. It was Risky Business.
I walked out of there 5.5 stone, loads of marks. I was just a skeleton, really. I came out, my childhood had been stolen.
The police had multiple opportunities to investigate the woman who lured Elizabeth to the flat. They knew that she was a facilitator of child sexual exploitation, but they failed to act.
They keep saying it's missed opportunities. I don't think so. They let her get away with murder.
Elizabeth's story didn't end after she was rescued from the flat. She had been freed, but her nightmare continued.
In Clifton Park, that we used as a central point to getting drunk, men just being around all the time. There'd be all sorts going off in that park. It was one of the biggest hotspots in Rotherham for people committing this crime. Grooming is like a postcode lottery. So once one's got your number, everybody's got your number. Just men ringing all the time, you know, the phone would be going off 30 to 50 times a day with different people from different areas.
Some of these children, as adults, are still living with that absolute emotional trauma that nobody believed them and nobody acted. The most common thing that we were told is these children were lying because their stories were so far-fetched they had to be lies. These were children that might have, had petrol porn on them, had been trafficked, had been gang raped. How do children lie about that?
So how had the gangs been able to get away with it for so long? Some of the evidence pointed directly at Rotherham Council.